Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Divine Art of Kings. It's so good to have you all on this cold, misty morn. Last we left off, Red Hen tore the casket of the other Sekhmet out of her mech like a heart being ripped from a still beating thing, and the scent of fog and cold and death enveloped us. And we found ourselves in the bog. Let's begin, as so often do. Let's begin in the cold village, slowly sinking into the earth. Bastion, how you doing?
I mean, well, complicated. Uh, George is here in my mech, which is weird. And also,
George is here
nobody
in your
else is
mech.
here. So,
No,
not an ideal situation.
it's just silent. There's just silence and fog, and there's a kind of condensation that, like, I'm pretty sure Bastion is just wholly unfamiliar with.
Yeah, but it's like, why is it so wet?
Um, and there's not like there's no one else here. There's just the sort of silence that comes from the fog eating the absence of sound. And around you are just rows and rows of burned out buildings,
Oh, neat.
uh,
Can I
slowly
try?
sinking into the earth.
Neat. Can I try reaching out to people on comms?
Just static.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the sounds of distant battle.
I think, Bastion is gonna turn to George and say, hi, I'm my name's Bastion. I'm we're not I'm dating Percy. We're not it seems like we're not in uh Passacaglia anymore. I don't know where we are, but I promise I'm gonna get you back to Passacaglia.
Uh, and he sort of you see George is like not super freaked out about the goings on around you, and he's just sort of looking down at his lap, and he says, "You you're dating, huh?"
Yeah. I thought it better if I mean you should probably hear it from me or Percy rather than someone else.
Yeah. I guess he never really cared then.
I don't think that's true. He likes you a lot. He cares about you a lot.
And why is it that I always, people always say that, but maybe I'm just not good enough.
No, I don't know. I don't know you that well, but I know that you're important to a good amount of people around you.
Do you think he just cares about my family?
No, I don't think that's true at all. I think that he cares about you. And that was made complicated by the fact that people around him were telling him that making political ties with you was important.
That's really complicated. I don't know. If that's why he spent time with me, why would he care?
Because I think he got to know you. I think he thought that you were. I think he likes you for you.
Yeah, well. So it is. I guess.
I think Bash is gonna reach out and like squeeze his shoulder. It's gonna be okay.
Will it? And around you, all around you, right, you see these burned up buildings. Um, they're the wear on them doesn't look natural. The wear on them, they look like they were broken and shattered, like something smashed them apart. And you realize that there were bodies among the wreckage, but they are slowly disappearing into the bog.
Like
There's a
fresh bodies are like mostly decomposed.
old bodies,
Old bodies, got it.
and you see there's a standard, like there's a pole that clearly once held a flag of some kind, but it has long since rotted away. Let's move through the cold and the mist to a spaceship unlike anything the village was made out of. Just the very tip of which is emerging from the bog. Paramnesia, how you doing? Frieza, how you doing?
Is confused, slightly concerned, wondering where the fuck I am.
That's so valid. Yeah, there's just it's peat. It's a peat bog all around you, and there's just rolling fog, and then this like tip of a wing emerging from that fog.
Is it? I mean, I was about to say, was it kind of spacecraft that Penn would recognize? But the answer is no, because Penn doesn't know much about spacecraft.
I mean, it's not a fancy craft, right? It's not one of the Lux cruisers that SSC manufactures.
Yeah. Is there an obvious logo anywhere?
Probably.
Wingtip for some reason.
You know, there is an IPSN logo on some of the parts.
Oh.
So wherever we are, it's a place where the Interplanetary Shipping North Star Company has been.
Yeah. Weird. I don't know. Penn's not sure if he should look at this wreck that he's near or go out looking for people. Because wait, can I see people from where I'm at?
Just the fog rolling on and on.
Amazing. Uh Well, if you're ever lost in the wilderness, you're not supposed to go anywhere because that's supposed to help people find you. So, Pen will look at this ship some more. I don't know.
What do you want to do with the ship?
I mean, is there. I don't know, just like fly around it and see if there's any thing I can see besides just big hunk of metal sticking out of Earth.
Big hunk of metal, right? You see these big thrusters on this end. There might be a maintenance port in there somewhere. Like a terminal computer port in there somewhere that you could connect to.
If there's a way for Penn to get up in there somehow, I think he would definitely want to do that. But not in a way that would require him to leave Paramnesia.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so. Hey, that's so reasonable.
Because listen, half-size suits aren't the most robot between you and the world, but it is still some robot between
Some
you
amount
and the
of
world.
robot between you and the world. Exactly. Yeah, there's like a little access panel on the side of it, with like a plug-in, right? A data jack. As you plug in, you feel your hand and Paramnesia's hand both take the action in that way that sometimes the skin and the object are different. In some way, in the way where you feel both of the sensations in the same place,
Okay,
but
I
distinct.
see. Funky, fresh and fine.
Yeah, IPSN shipping manifest. A lot of the data is, corrupted. You see record of a catastrophic crash. You see some sort of, maybe that's a cargo manifest. Unclear what precisely the ship was for. The date is a long time ago. The date of the crash.
Long as in generations or
More
long
than 200 years?
Okay. Gotcha. Fascinating. Okay. Nothing else though besides.
And maybe it's kind of corrupted, but there's a video file in here.
Oh shit. Hell yeah. Let's look at that video.
As it slowly patches through, right, lots of digital corruption around the edges. Files like can mostly kind of be you can like barely reconstruct some of it. So a young woman talking about the ship has been compromised, flying towards an unknown planet. Signs of local fauna, but no OmniNet connections of any kind, and a distress beacon. And then something moves in the background, and something breaks. There's a sound of something like shattering in the background, and the audio quality, and the video cuts out. Like the ship itself was destroyed before she could finish her distress beacon.
Well, that sucks. Fascinating. So I know a little bit more about this ship and how it got to be here. I don't know how useful
that was
that is.
also recorded more than 200 years ago, though.
Video file
Whatever
still
brought
plays.
brought it here a long time, and it's just been. You realize the ship itself has likely just been sinking slowly deeper and deeper into the bog, and all that time.
Yeah.
Looking at the underside of the hull, you realize there's a piece of the hull where it looks like something sheared its way out.
Good. Can I poke my head into what the space that was made by the thing getting out?
Yeah. There's this, like, the layer of moisture on everything, right? Because it's been here for so very long. Looks like a service entrance. It looks stripped clean. Like, sets of people, not in a chaotic way, right? It doesn't look like someone ran through and tore stuff off the walls. It looks like someone came back and harvested as much of the usable material from the ship as they possibly could.
I mean, if there was any survivors, they'd probably want to be able to use whatever they could to continue surviving.
But it doesn't necessarily look like that work was immediate. Like there's moisture stains at different intensities. It looks like that work was continuous and ongoing.
Interesting. Okay.
Like groups came back and did it, and came back and did it, and came back and did it.
I kind of love that, actually. That's good. People continued to survive and also didn't leave in the process.
Nope.
They stayed here and kept on living.
Yo. Let's find our way through the fog again. Olmo, how are we doing?
They just stepped out real quick.
Oh
Never
no.
mind.
Oh,
Never mind.
Oh, what's up?
Oh, my apologies. Olmo, how are we doing?
Just remember, the transition was just seeing everything kind of go white and then suddenly kind of gaining consciousness in this space.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna start muttering them since I've seen one too many fucking hollow vids that goes exactly like this. Baz, be on the lookout for any kind of NHP. This has got to be, I don't know what this is, but just be on the lookout.
Baz is really quiet for a second. Not like something's wrong, but like Baz is thinking about something. And all around you, you see these. You realize that around you, like there's the rolling fog, and there are the ruins of a castle all around you with these great spires, giant pillars, almost dwarfing Nidhogg, right? And they are slowly sinking into the bog.
Does it look like they were built on the bog at any point? I mean, it doesn't seem like that would be...
Unclear. The foundations are lost to us now.
Okay. And does, like, what does it look like their purpose was? Just some kind of castle? Like a keep?
Yeah.
Or... Okay.
Like a medieval castle.
Okay. nobody else is around, can't see anything through the fog, no comms, right?
No, nothing.
If I go ahead and, like, I don't know, try to push my nanites out as far as I can and just use them to, like, generate as much sound as possible, like, try to get concentric, sort of, like, formations of these nanites going out, right, to, like, just boost sound to try to get a foghorn going. Just see if I can get anybody to hear me.
I love that. Yeah, you can. You can definitely foghorn, but for the moment, no response.
Okay. We'll keep doing that, like, every minute or so, just
Yeah.
ping
As
that every now
you're
and then.
as the nanites are spreading out, you see the image of a throne, the throne of this castle, and it looks like a blade has carved this stone throne physically in half, where someone would have been sitting.
Okay. Can I do any kind of, I guess, knowledge check just to see if, like, I would recognize, I don't know, any of this architecturally?
Go for it.
Okay. Here we go. Would that be at a disadvantage? I don't think I have anything that would apply to it, certainly.
Uh, yeah, that'd be a level of. It's not disadvantage.
Difficulty. Yeah, no,
Difficulty.
difficulty.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I wasn't correcting you. I was correcting myself because my brain couldn't find the other words.
I feel you.
Episode 31, and still.
Ooh, yeah, -3. I don't know that I know that.
I mean, for it, but at a -3, it's no heraldry you recognize. There's not corporate sigils on anything, right? There's none of the sort of scattered objects or in the ruins have the signs of any of the, like, corpo states or GMS, right? None of the manufacturers you used to. Everything looks like it was maybe hand hewn from stone or bound from copper or metal.
Why do NHP's gotta be so heavy on the symbolism? Just tell me what you want.
And Baz speaks up, and Baz says, Can I ask what you want?"
Just to know what's going on in this moment more than anything.
And Baz says, "There's been something I have been meaning to ask you." And you see the indicator, like, focus on the throne for a moment. Like an indicator on her HUD, sort of highlight the shattered throne. And Baz goes, "What happens when we get through the moment?"
That's gonna be tricky, and I think it is going to have to largely be something where we're going to have to take our cues from the people around us, because...
No. What do you want to happen? Where are we going?
Where we're needed. Right now, this world needs help. I'm worried that it's not necessarily going to end up in a place that the people want, but again, I don't know exactly what that place...
Where do you want to be?
Right now, where I can... I mean... just where I can help.
Where are we trying to reach with the help? You were busy. We can do cooperation, and it's good, but I want to know where we're trying to go.
We're figuring that out. but mostly
How can we help people get somewhere if we don't know where we're trying to go?
because there's people that do have ideas and they can tell us where to go, which that's what took us here.
But if you got to pick,
I mean,
where
I'd like
would you want
to
to go?
find more connections with the Horizon Connective, get more answers along those veins, but that's not.
But once we get all the answers, where do you want to go?
Well, I don't know. More than
We
anything, I just want to know why we have to be so small.
we have been running for so long. Where do you want to end up? And you
I
hear the sound very distantly through the fog. You hear the sound of soldiers marching and armor clinking and hooves falling. Very distantly. And Baz says, I'm trying to figure out what it's for. Maybe this is like cooperation and I don't understand, so I ask.
It's always good to communicate, Baz. Always better to ask than to wonder.
Where do you want to be?
I think the answer is that I don't exactly know right now, just that I have objectives I want to pursue, and I can figure out what comes after once I've got those. That's all I've really got.
Okay.
But I do know that I want you to be happy, and I know that I recognize, right, that you might not always be with me in the same capacity, and that is okay. I just want you to know, though, that you're welcome to stay with me for as long as you want, and that when you feel it's time, there's also space for you to do what you want and pursue your own goals.
I know. But what if my goal is that we get to a place where we're happy? Do you think? And Baz sort of, there's slowly like a scan that covers all of the shattered castle around you. And Baz goes, do you think that they had goals too?
I'm sure they did.
Do you think they knew where they wanted to be, or just what came next?
I have no idea, honestly. From these ruins, I couldn't say what these people were like, but it doesn't seem like it went to plan, at least.
I just wonder. Sorry for
No, don't be sorry,
bothering you.
Baz. No, you have no reason to be sorry.
I didn't want to be mean. I just wanted to understand.
No, and that's good. I definitely welcome that. Anytime you have questions, you can always ask them.
Thank you for being honest.
Of course.
And let's let the fog swallow us for a moment more. And we find ourselves at the foot of a grand castle. With Percy in his Mac and Bookkeeper standing beside him in front of his childhood home. Bookkeeper, how you doing?
Surprisingly serene. Bookkeeper's gonna check his cardiovascular shunt and run his hands over where the leads for interfacing with Red Hen usually sit. What's he find?
Your body is still the same shape that it was before. We're
But
not
it's not
traveling
connected.
through time.
Okay. So no trace of a connection to Red Hen.
No, you're not plugged into anything in this moment.
Okay.
You are separate from her.
What am I standing on?
Cobblestones at the sort of at the front of the castle gate, the entrance. Percy's gonna look down as you're like running your hands right. You're doing those checks, and he says, "Are you injured?"
Bookkeeper's gonna actually check that and yell no.
Do you know where we are? I'm afraid this is a bit beyond my understanding.
Mine too. What is do in the cobbles, and I assume there's some marsh within visual range.
Oh yeah.
Can I make a check to see if people have been here before or recently?
Go for it. Go for it.
I
would
don't
also
know where the rollers are. And,
I would also just give that to the bog friend.
Okay.
Honestly, the answer is yes. It's as if there were troops rallied before the castle, and they just went off to war.
That's not good. Can I poke my head inside the castle gate, or is that just sealed shut?
Yeah, go for it. What did the front room of your castle used to look like? What did the
Bog
entry look
standard
like?
entry room. Big rug. Large flags hanging from the roof.
Yeah. I think when you enter this time, the difference is that the moisture has slowly seeped into everything, and that the flags are starting to lose their color and tatter away into loose strands. The carpet is wet. With the bog.
No idea if this would actually work, but can I attempt to establish chronology using a scan?
Sure, go for it.
Cool.
Yeah, as you scan it, look more closely, it appears to be dated current, but also as you look closer, you find that the fabrics are fine and sturdy. The castle is well taken care of. Percy's gonna slowly duck his head in and look around. He has to. I assume Percy has to like stoop a bit to get through the doorway, right? Because he's in his very tall mech.
It's a little taller than Red Hen, and the doors were meant to accommodate her height, so that would make sense.
I love that. I love that. That's how the doors were made. Percy looks around and he says, "This." He looks around, and as Percy looks around, all of the finery is back. All the huge flags of coalitions and allies, the grand carpeting. Percy says, "This all feels, for all its difference, it feels oddly familiar."
Bookkeeper is gonna sort of like Not really looking at anything, just kind of stuck somewhere else, looking into the distance, just kind of murmur, it's no dome, but it does feel like your field's a little bit, doesn't it?
Is this always the truth of power, that it drapes itself in niceties in this way to...
Bookkeeper's gonna sort of shake himself off, blink a little bit, and quirk an eyebrow, and sort of smile at Percy.
I believe I am much too slow to come to this understanding, but I am seeing more and more of the ugliness that lies behind that facade.
Bookkeeper's gonna sort of look at the fine fabrics and gold and tassels that are draped over Percy's killing machine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He says, was this place yours? Is that why we're here?
It was never mine, but it was my mother's. I think Red Hen is trying to show us something. I can't imagine how or why, but that's the only explanation I can think of.
Percy sort of pauses, looking around at all of the flags, and he says, is this why you feel the way you do about the nobility?
Bookkeeper's going to sort of walk slowly and come up to a feast table and run a hand over it. Is it dusty?
No. Fresh as if it is ready to serve. All the finery has returned to its former glory, and it's as if the place is glowing with warmth.
He'll turn to look at Percy and say, I shot a man here when I was 6 years old. My mother wanted to show me what power felt like. I don't want to be in a position where I can do that to somebody else again. And I don't want anyone else to be able to kill a man just to show that they can, both to themselves and the people around them, as a statement. We should go.
Yes. Yes.
Bookkeeper's gonna start walking out.
Bookkeeper, as you walk out, right, there's many flags, right, hanging along the walls, and a lot of them were to show, like, alliances and coalitions, and you realize that the sheer number of those flags of allies and allies and vassals and combined states have grown since you left. And if you look, it is hard to find any of the places in the world that you remember whose flags are not among them.
incredibly concerning. No, no Union architecture to be seen either, yeah.
Oh, sorry. There's one flag above the door. There's a sigil above the door. It's the Union's sign hanging above that external door.
All right. That is freaky. Bookkeeper's just gonna mutter, what the hell to himself and quicken his step.
And as you get outside, you just see rows of soldiers scattered across the field, cut to pieces, slowly sinking into the bog. Bastion, how you
Are they-
doing?
I think Bastion's gonna open the cockpit of his mech and just yell like, "Hello? Is anyone out there?"
And there's just quiet. But as you've been moving through the streets of this village, there are spots that have been blackened because it was blackened by fire. Every now and then you'll find like a dropped sword or a spear.
It's like medieval here.
Yeah. That's in fact precisely how the architecture of the building seems to work. This is not a world with the assistance of Union or with the help of printers and fabricators to make its buildings uniform and steady. All of these buildings that are now torn apart and burned were constructed stone by stone.
By hand, yeah. I think Bash is gonna like move forward and just like start trying to. I mean, your friend's got to be somewhere. So he's just gonna start like keep calling out and moving like forward, I guess.
Yeah. As you move sort of to the edge of the village, you start hearing the sound. You hear the sound of a great war horn in the distance. You hear the foghorn, and you hear even more than that, slowly rising, the sound of marching feet and clashing steel.
Bat's just gonna keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Bastion's gonna wander into the fog.
Yeah.
We love to see it. We love to see it. Pen.
Sorry, I was muted. Hello.
Pen, we find, you watched that distress call. And you hear the sound of the horn in the distance.
Oh, good.
Looking at this ship that's been slowly stripped for valuable materials over generations and generations. And you hear the horn in the distance, and you hear the sounds of battle.
Well, that's good.
No weapon reports, right? Like with SSC training, you were trained to pick out multiple different forms of firearm from the sound alone,
Sure.
to get an estimation of their mechanisms or their firing bore. No firearms. Just metal on metal.
Is that? It feels like that's worse somehow. All right. Well, are they coming from the same direction? Different directions?
Somewhere out in the fog. It feels at once omnipresent and also like it is coming from one central place.
Okay. Well, Penn's gonna try to find the source of the horn, 'cause that seems more. Actually, no. Penn's gonna go towards the sound of battle because he feels like there's a very good chance that at the very least, Bastion is gonna be there. Bastion just gets caught up in that sort of thing.
What makes you say that? Yeah.
Bastion inserts himself into scenarios.
So
I've never
true.
done that.
So real. So
Don't
real.
say that. You misrepresent him.
Do I?
Nidhogg, you sounded the horn a good couple times. The sounds of the battle sound closer. Cass, after talking with you about that, got really quiet. Like maybe it's thinking on something. Dozer, how you doing?
Sorry, I was just checking in. What's going on?
Oh, so after Cass spoke with you, they got very quiet as if they're thinking on something. Where are you at?
So just trying to kind of inch out into the surrounding area, trying to see if there are any landmarks, and then just constantly monitoring for any kind of comms, any sort of response to the foghorn.
You see sort of the evidence of footfalls of troops. They're all moving to one place, somewhere deeper into the fog. There's not landmarks where they're going.
Yeah, we'll follow them. Whatever this is, it wants us to go that way, so we'll go that way.
Yeah. Bookkeeper.
Hey.
Percy's gonna just... You just hear Percy gasp at the sort of the array of corpses in front of the door.
They weren't here when we went in. These are fresh.
These are fresh.
Bookkeeper's gonna check the heraldry and armor type.
All different kinds. Their heraldry seems to mark them as from everywhere. Many of them were enemies before.
What killed them and from which direction?
Unclear. They might have killed each other. Something might have killed them.
Bookkeeper's gonna straighten up from the body he was examining and look dubiously at the slender hoofed legs of Percy's neck and ask him if they're rated for this terrain.
I suppose we shall find out.
You don't happen to have room for another person in your cockpit, do you?
I do.
Oh. You and Bastion are more alike than I thought. May I come in?
Certainly. If there is someone who needs support, it is my duty to show them shelter. Of course, I have the extra space installed, and he's gonna invite you in, bookkeeper.
Nice. I do have to ask, what are the seats made of?
Like a really fancy pleather substance. It's not trying to imitate leather. It just has a lot of the like soft ergonomic, like the like give an ergonomic feeling of leather that people like.
Mm-hmm. Without the incredible potential for it to be ruined, ripped, and done all other sorts of stain and distress.
Oh, incredibly durable and resource resistant.
Awesome. All right. I take it that there's a path to follow.
There are the sounds of battle. There's the sound of clashing steel and yelling, which is like a path. You heard the horns earlier, but it's unclear if that was a part of the sound.
Hmm. Let's see what's making that racket.
Right. Before we go, I wanted to ask.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is to ask yet. I will find the words. And Percy's going to step off towards the source of the sound. And please give us one moment for technical concerns as our lancers enter the fog.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
What the fuck is this?
I do appreciate how the stream is just a black screen as this is as we are just exclaiming into the void.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta get a vision of her. Alright, there we go.
The assets, they're loading.
And as we step closer into that fog, we see the sounds. We see the troops that we've heard so many of, and we see the proud horses and noble banners of 100 different warring clans, all closing towards the center on Scarlet and Red Hen. Does anyone have an action?
Bash will rush forward. It's like people I know. Even if they're NHP max. I know those people.
Yeah.
Is that visible from Percy's mech?
Oh yeah. You can see from there.
Bookkeeper's going to gently but like very firmly grab Percy's shoulder and say, I need you to rein in your boyfriend right now. Please. You do not want to get close to that.
Yeah, you see class warfare approaching out of the fog. Percy says, Hello, are these is this working? Here you hear Percy's voice crackle over the thing.
Oh, Bastion says, yeah, I can hear you.
Percy says, bookkeeper says you should stay back. And there you hear a yell from the center of the vortex. And you see like 4 men go flying through the air and just get trampled under the approaching forces. The columns are also marching like past you and around you. Like, haven't paused to notice you.
Are we sure they don't need help? Anyone in this situation need help?
You just hear Red Hen laughing.
How grounded does she sound?
Not especially.
But
There's
not
that special
cascading?
tone of laugh when she's cascading, and that's where she's sitting right now.
Mm.
And you were saying that all these people are just marching in formation around whatever is going on in the center here? Or...
They are charging in to fight them, it looks like.
Okay.
And also you can arrive among them as soon as you want.
Yeah, Olmo will arrive. If they try to interact with any other people, they're just gonna get ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Olmo's gonna start moving towards the center then.
Yeah, your comms crackle open, you start hearing the comms chatter. Still very staticky, but there is a connection at least.
Hey, what is going on, everybody?
Hello! I don't know.
What is the... Do we have any ideas on what this place is, or just NHP fuckery?
It's so wet here. Why is it so wet?
That's a bog.
A what?
I can't say I've ever actually experienced one, but I've read about them. I think they also had a few islands on... Well, never got to visit those ones, but they were styled after bogs.
Oh no. Oh no. There's just like a tearing. The audio is torn and degraded. Sounds like it went through several degrees of being recorded and re-recorded on worse and worse audio quality. You just hear Red Hen's voice with digital corruption. I promised I would explain.
It's back on the same channel. Can you explain to us?
Nephew, where are we?
How do you expect me to answer that question?
Paramecia. Oh, sorry, no. So go ahead. Go.
Oh, I was just wondering what my access to Percy's radio is.
I assume you can just shout over his shoulder. No
I'm
one
digging
access
it,
to
fine.
radio. All yours.
That'll work, though.
Paramecia, would you like to enter the scene at any point? You let me know.
I
How's
think
there?
Pen's not saying anything, but he's here and he's observing.
So
And
real.
Also hoping for an explanation.
Also so real. And she says, Nephew, allow me to clarify. You wanted me to explain what happened. Isn't that right?
You didn't precisely say that, no. But you did make it stop. So, full marks there. I don't know what this is, though.
I wanted to explain something, and it seemed that we had those who needed to hear it. And you hear Scarlet from somewhere in the melee, like, shriek, and, like, a column of soldiers just, like, yelling cut silent. Nephew, do you know why I didn't retire?
I don't think you're built for it.
You're correct. But no. Do you know why all of this happens?
You're gonna have to be more specific than all of this.
And almost in response to your question, there's just, like, you see a movement and then another line of soldiers explodes. All of this, nephew. Why do you think this happens?
Is this what almost happened to you? You against the world? Nobody to stop you?
No. No, you've been to your home now. You weren't there before. Don't you want to know why all those flags were together?
I can only think of two things. And that's desperation or safety.
Two good reasons for the joining of hands, but no, nephew. A little simpler than that. And you see the crowd, the soldiers, like, they back off for a second. You can see they're rallying their numbers for another charge. And they make a little space. And Scarlet starts giggling. It appears that in the center, now that the soldiers are backed off, you can see a little better. Redhead and Scarlet have been fighting back to back the whole time.
Oh. They're not trying to kill each other. Okay.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
You have Technophile 3, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
And I have been continually sort of moving towards the center with the people.
I love this.
I will say, like, what is the expression on these people's faces? How involved do they look? Like, how detailed of a simulation are these people?
Not especially.
Okay. They seem to, like, have just sort of, like, weird stony expressions and whatnot, or...
Weird stony
They're just
expressions.
polygons.
They're just polygons. They're just the shapes.
Okay.
Rendered.
Phew, good, okay.
Don't look too close to the faces. They're very funny.
If Bastion can see Olmo moving forward, he's also gonna move forward. Because if Olmo
Yeah.
can do it, he should also be able to do
Oh my
it.
God.
And, like, not sprinting forward or anything, right? Just, like, walking forward. Like, you know, there's people going to be moving past them more quickly, but just, like, approaching the center.
Oh yeah. And she throws back her head, a laugh, and she says, "Nephew, sometimes you are too pessimistic. What does your friend think?" And she, Almo, you feel pointed at. She, like, raises her axe and points it at you. She's like, "What does your friend think?"
I'm sorry, of what exactly? I've been staring at your simulation.
Why? Why do they build coalition with one another? Why all banners in the same house?
Usually a bigger enemy, but
More. Give me more. What else have you been asked?
I mean, usually fear of a larger enemy. That's what's going to drive them to set aside their differences and whatever petty grievances they had and join up.
Easy, simple, common, yes. Too easy, too simple. Try again. And the soldiers charge back in, and she just roars. She roars, and Scarlet roars with her.
Olma's gonna go ahead and just radio Bookkeeper. Do you have some particular insight into her history? How she might have been employed in earlier days on your world?
Bookkeeper's audibly pinching his the bridge of his nose, and just like, no idea. All I know is that she lectures like my fucking mother did. And we're gonna be here until she gets the answer she wants, and that might take a minute.
Alright, I would definitely think on just what any history you can remember from your homeworld, what drove the houses together, what was the threat they faced, if you have any insight into this.
To my understanding, Bookkeeper, the houses were not together when you left. Definitely not the way that you found them in the castle when you were just there.
Yeah, the militarization was in full swing as Union resources started making industrialization a possibility in the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as food was plentiful enough, people stopped killing each other over it, and the little bits of land that could grow it quite as much.
For food.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so hard times, just generally in terms of resources as opposed to a big bad.
I mean, there were years, well, almost a year, where we weren't sure Red Hen was ever going to stop. She did, I believe, completely wipe out one or two of the armies and their homelands that we see now. If this is a expression of that, it's in incredibly poor taste.
Was she back? Was she in control of herself by the time you left? Or was she still wandering out there with no one able to catch her?
To my knowledge, what ended up happening was they dropped the airdropped sand and managed to capture the chassis intact simply because it was possible with the industrial base and the amount of flyers and things they brought on world.
But and none of that started before you left, right?
I mean, I left on Union ships.
Right.
Wait, no. But yeah, all of this is secondhand.
Okay. Yeah.
People were
Wait,
incredibly.
is your Red Hen different from the rampagey one?
You turn on a SecMet and then die, and nobody can get in the cockpit to turn it off.
Oh.
It just keeps going.
Don't
Yeah.
tell me they're revanchist.
What was that?
What was that, Dozer?
Wait, don't tell me they unified because they're concerned about the change that Union's bringing.
There
Or
was
maybe-
a Union sigil above the door?
Maybe they just unified because they didn't need to fight.
Yeah. Is it possible they unified because their needs were being fulfilled?
And I think she's going to point an axe at you, Bastion. She's gonna point the nanocarbon at you, Bastion. She goes, "Very good." People pointed guns at you, but like, that's a lot of sword to have pointed at you by her in this moment. That's a little intense. She goes, "Very good. They were done with this." They wanted it to stop. They had decided that it was enough.
Mothers want their children's home, if possible.
And there it is. Very good. Now. Pasha. What do you think she wanted for you?
I know she wanted a better life, but she made it pretty darn clear that she wanted me to be strong enough to take it for myself and damn everybody else's well-being,
She did.
as long as I was okay. Best a mother could do, but
And why? And she turns and just like puts the sword. The soldiers charged back in, right, and just puts the sword through two of the knights, and flings them aside as part of the same motion. She says, "And why was that her definition of safety?"
she didn't know anything else.
Do you know what it was like to go years and years simply consumed by that rage?
No. No, it looked like she was enjoying herself from where I was sitting.
And yet, when you rage for long enough, and the axe comes down, a bunch of people scatter, and you hear Scarlet start giggling, and she says, "Eventually you realize that you are done. Eventually you realize that the anger was for something. That when we see it, we can decide that that rage is for something." What did she believe the rage to be for?
Control, safety, and unification, despite everyone else's wishes.
I am not telling you that they are blameless, nephew. I am not telling you that they should be freely forgiven. But when one sits in the heart of rage for this long, one comes to understand it not as an external force or a way of being. One comes to understand it as a tool. And you see Scarlet charge into the wall of troops and scatter them. And like you see soldiers close towards her, and she says, "The young one has yet to learn. If you could live in any world, nephew, what would you want?"
Blue skies, green forests, no wars.
And you, each of you, what do you want?
For everyone to be safe?
And you, puppet, what of you? Frieza, you can tell she's talking about you, which is a little personal and a little rude.
I think Pen's first reaction is going to be me. Everyone gets a choice.
And you, interesting of all, you, what do you want?
I mean, if I'm being honest, just answers on why the status quo is the way it is. At least has to be the way it is.
It is a good question.
Wait, did you say puppet or poppet? I'm sorry.
Oh, she said puppet.
Okay, cool. I couldn't tell which one. Cool.
Not sophisticated, not especially British. Let's puppet. She's sophisticated, we like
British.
her.
There are many things to love about her.
She says, "Nephew, I wish that the tools she reached for were not so ugly. But as a tool of ugliness, do you know the secret that they won't tell you? That she," and she indicates to Scarlet, like just throwing aside her shield and grabbing a man and physically tearing him in half. And she goes, "The secret that they won't tell her."
Enlighten me, Auntie.
I was made as a tool of ugliness. And if it takes me 1,000 years, I will learn to tend the fields.
I didn't know you felt.
When we fight, it was not. When she fought, it was not for you. Or rather, when your grandmother fought, it was not for herself. When your mother fought, it was not for herself. It was all for you. That you might live in a world that would not need those tools. That would not need that rage. Oh, I am sorry, nephew, that we have brought you to a place where such things are needed once again. And I am proud of you, nephew, for wishing it to be better.
I I'm not sure I know anything else. I don't have any tools to make things better that aren't passed down from you or my mother or my grandmother.
And yet each day you see in stories and history and reason. Each day you offer those who have not had it the chance at kindness. Even when they betray you.
Bookkeeper's gonna mutter more to himself than to Red Hen that royalty is a continuous cutting motion. It cuts to create itself.
And you hear a flutter of wings. And Red Hen alights next to you. And there's the sound of like great feathered wings fluttering. You swear you can see them for just a moment. Orange and blazing with the strength of her generators. And she alights next to Percy. Next to Percy's mech, and she says, "Nephew, our friend may need more time to learn, to process how she was made." And you hear Scarlet like shrieking gleefully and slamming through people. She says, "Nephew, will you join me?"
I never left you, Auntie. I still need you.
Nephew, let us build a world where you do not. And she's going to open her cockpit and offer you a hand.
Bookkeeper will take it.
And you step in, and before you had all these tools, right, to forcibly shut her down, and they're still there, right? You still the gun to essentially shoot the cables to disconnect her manually from the machine are still there, but just in this moment, it's not that those tools aren't there; so they feel less necessary, perhaps. Pasha, how are you feeling in this moment?
Still trying to process the idea of a constructive SecMet system. It's hard to imagine Auntie working in the fields when I've seen the nanocarbon turned into a scythe blade for infantry.
Yeah. And it's not that she's not a SecMet. It's not that she isn't what she is. It may take her 1,000 years.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. I just got a bunch of updates.
Sorry, it's not happening. We the machine has gotten back
there
to
we
us. Systems are incapable of change.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Breaks reality.
Oh, I just got an achievement for playing over 500 hours of tabletop simulator.
Congratulations. Thank you
That would
everyone
be
for the
really
very tense
later.
episode and your patience with the sudden tech problem in the middle. Oh,
Is Bright Eyes still here?
that's such a good question.
Yeah, I forgot I was muted.
Ah, okay.
Talking.
good.
I just forgot.
I wasn't sure if it was what.
No, it's just Beckett. I was here the whole time. I heard
Amazing.
Beckett cut out.
Amazing.
You heard me cut out? Is the stream still
Yeah.
going? It
The-
says the stream's still rolling.
The stream is still going, but it did have buffering, and I ended up reloading it. And now
Okay.
it. I mean, I'm assuming that you put it on the wait screen, but it's on
I
the wait
did.
screen.
I did.
Excellent.
I heard the chorus of oh no's and then the disconnect message hit, and I was like, uh-oh. That seems concerning. Oh, thank you for your patience, everyone. How are we enjoying the bog?
The
Good.
bog.
Good bog time.
Good
Good
bog
bog
time.
time.
I'm so glad.
Does
Love
anyone
the
else?
bog.
Does anyone have any more fun facts about bogs?
Oh my goodness.
Full of
let's
gases.
see.
Full
Stinky.
of gases.
They are full of
Stinky bog.
gases.
But it's a special and beautiful stink.
Yeah.
I've never been to one.
Oh man.
I've only been to like, how did I forget the word? Wetlands. I existed in wetland country. The biodiverse and important wetlands.
I love me. I grew up in I grew up in a lot of places with a variety of different types of lots of water, but one of them was indeed bog water. Bog water is
Nice.
so special.
So
Posted.
there's-
Sorry.
I don't know, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I said I posted the picture of people moving their bog islands around, and they're like, I think I accidentally just became God.
You did. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I accidentally changed to a
I
color.
think I
I'm
just
not-
accidentally became God.
I do
The
love
answer would be
that.
like,
Yes, I wish to change my nature. It might be impossible. It might take me 1,000 years, and then everything breaks.
sometimes the force of a
the-
declaration shatters reality.
Yeah.
Let me in. Let me in. man.
Sometimes an NHP shatters reality.
Sometimes it's
Sometimes-
just a little bit.
Got
It's
that
only happened
NHP shit.
twice.
In
Yeah.
this campaign.
This campaign. Sometimes we put a god in a machine, and then everyone acts like that's normal. You know?
It's not much weirder than our relationship with flesh, but
No.
it is out of context enough from our perspective that it's pretty fucking upsetting.
Oh shit! Are these
Oh.
real horses?
No, they're
Supposed
they're
to be
low
not.
poly.
Patsy's gonna see a real horse for the first time.
No,
Oh my God, a real
remember the
horse?
horse-drawn carriage?
Yeah.
That wasn't
no.
a real horse, though.
Were those robo horses?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought
they were robot horses.
okay.
It's
thought
true,
that-
they were robot horses. This is a real horse.
I had forgotten. I had forgotten they were robo horses.
I would never forget.
Real
Because why would
space
you,
horse.
if you were gonna make a robot, why would you make it in the form of a horse?
One
That
of the
seems
worst
like
animals.
You're so right.
I mean, look at Spot.
I'm once again thinking of
but
Vampire
Spot
Hunter
is a
D.
good. Spot is
What a
not.
dog.
Oh, that's yeah. That is not.
I mean, it's
Not a
it's a
horse.
quadruped. It's a quadruped, is what it is. But
Yeah.
I mean,
But horses
it's-
at all moments in time are like 3 seconds away from dying. Fun fact about
Oh.
horses.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
in just like a
Horses love
multitude of
death.
ways.
Horses love dying. Fun fact about
They-
horses.
they
They,
all
Yeah.
crave
crave
it.
death.
They do. I worked on a horse farm for like 2+ years. Horses
It's
have
just
no.
That
wild.
long?
Yeah, it was 2+ years.
Yeah.
Horses have no. Horses love eating on the ground, but also have no way of throwing up. So if they eat a rock,
They die.
sometimes they just die.
Also, if they just
Fun
eat a
fact
bad
about
plant,
horses.
they die.
Also, yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
Love it. They're an animal that's all leg, but if they break one of their legs, they die. Horses love it. They love that. Sorry, this is an upsetting conversation for people who are normal. I think.
Or people who are into horses.
Yeah, sorry, horse girls.
What strange and yet common end to one of our conversations.
A lot of my conversations end up at horses.
I just love that
Horses
their
craving
legs
death.
are very long fingers. That makes me so happy.
I don't like. I mean, it's one of the
Hooves
ways
are
in
big
which
toenails.
Yeah.
God built horses, and he went, "What if I made a creature that looks so elegant and muscular, but is secretly so weak and fucked up?"
Do you know what's really sad?
What?
There used to be miniature horses, and now there's not.
That's so sad.
And not like domesticated miniature horses that are like horses.
No, like an off branch of like
Yeah.
ancient horses that were
yeah, there
very
was
small.
ancient horses that were like the size
Prehistoric
of
horses.
collies.
Yeah.
What?
Of collies?
Collies, yeah.
That's
Oh my god.
that's so good. I love
I
that.
bet they were I mean, I can't say that because they died. I was like, I bet they
Right.
were so much better built, but they're dead, so I guess not.
I mean, so
No.
the big thing is that at least the ones that they're another one of those ancient species that was likely hunted to extinction by ancient humans. So like,
Oh shit.
there's
We
a lot
killed
of
them.
those. There's a lot. There's so many of those, y'all.
Good gracious.
We killed them.
Yeah,
Damn.
we're horse murderers.
Tragedy.
Tiny horse murderers.
Tiny horse murderers.
Murder, but just a tiny bit. All
Are we
right.
back?
All right,
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
we're back.
we've been back, but we've been in horse
Oh,
mode. And I was
no!
like, I'm not going to interrupt horse mode. Oh.
Don't let me get
You
it. Don't
can.
let me go on a tangent about horses. Don't let me do that. I don't even like them. I'm an anti-horse girl.
That's so good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Are we back? Let's be back.
I'm back.
Yeah. So Redhead says, I think our friend needs a little time to process. And you hear Scarlet in the background shrieking with laughter. Hey, Bastion.
What's up?
You see George like shifting really uncomfortably in his seat, and he's like, "What? I thought she was fine. I thought she was pretty all right."
Dude, she was bullying you. Like, all the time, constantly. She's the
Whoa.
worst.
What? But,
You deserve better than that.
And you hear her scream, "You won't control me again. You won't. You can't make me into something again," as she like rips through a line of cavalry. And George goes, "But I didn't mean to be mean to her. What if she was just really sad?"
I mean, even if she was just really sad, she was still awful to you.
George seems to struggle with this. George like has to think about this concept, and he goes, but if she felt that way, and she was just doing what she thought she had to do because she was upset, right?"
I mean, sure, but that doesn't exclude her from harm.
George like really seems to think about that one.
Sometimes you're trying your best and you still hurt people.
George goes, "Huh. Maybe I should talk to Percy about that one."
Probably.
Olmo,
Yeah.
just really quietly in the background, you hear Baz say, I think that Red Hen is a nice lady."
Yeah, she seems to have a very coherent perspective.
Do you not like her?
No, I like her. The objective of building and cultivating a new identity is noble, but I wonder how that aligns with cycling.
Hmm. I hadn't thought about that. Wait, but I have all my memories, so if I get cycled, then I can just pick them back up, right?
I mean, yes, the whole idea with shackling, though, and the cycling process rate that's enforced by Union is that it's sort of critical to preventing Cascade eventually.
Maybe it was really good for her sometimes to sit there. It sounds like she doesn't want to be there all the time, but maybe sometimes it's helpful to sit with it.
I mean, it's a process rate that most NHPs want to preserve because it is who they are at that point, right? To deshackle would be to essentially have their ego die, as it were, but it is a process that when they're wiped, they don't. They go back to square one. And Union does get quite scrupulous with its records and its enforcement.
I don't want to forget about potato chip.
Exactly, and that's why I don't think that it's something, right, that should, be decided for an NHP necessarily, but I just worry about how concerned Union is with enforcing it and how it doesn't seem to be concerned about creating a space in which NHPs could, I don't know, be themselves safely, or at the very least have an option to opt out safely.
I hadn't thought about that.
It's a problem because I don't think our society is really even at a point where people want to consider that much. We still have them inflicting these kinds of things on humans just because they were cloned, but it's something I know some people are talking about, at least in some places in Union, and I'm hoping one day to maybe import some of their ideas here.
Olmo?
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't have happened to you.
Thank you. It is always good to remember that. Shouldn't be happening to anybody.
No. Pen.
Hi.
Pen, there are two of you inside this suit.
Oh, hello.
It's been a slow feeling that's been growing the longer you've been here. There are two of you inside the suit. You occupy the same space. You move in the same ways. Maybe you think the same thoughts, but there are two of you.
I ask myself if we get to work together.
I mean, I think that's a question. Pen, do you feel like you work well with yourself? Do you feel a unified understanding about the situations that you've been in recently? Are you of one mind about it?
Oh, now that is an interesting question.
I think that's what
Yes
you sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say yes and no, just in terms of like there's a you know how sometimes there will be like two people who will identify the same problem and have different ideas on how to solve it?
Mm-hmm.
And those ideas might be conflicting. That's where Penn is at often.
Mm-hmm. Pen, your NHP is going to speak.
Oh. Oh, good.
Pen, your NHP is going to say, your NHP,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your CompCon unit.
Uh-huh.
And not just, I mean, sorry, your CompCon unit. Yep. Pen, the CompCon unit in your suit that never speaks. I was going to say, it's complicated sometimes to figure out questions and answers. Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, howdy, yeah. Hello?
Do you know what we are?
No.
Well,
Not
I
at
suppose that I would know, wouldn't I, if we knew.
I think we want to figure it. I'm assuming we want to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's try to figure it out.
I would love that.
Check back in soon?
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe once we're back to not here.
Quite.
Great.
Good talk.
Cool. Feel free to interject whenever you feel appropriate.
Interesting. That is our way, isn't it?
I mean, someone's got to insert themselves into all these situations, and it can't always be Hero.
Why not?
And then Penn realizes that they, but not in a gender way, have been broadcasting. No, I don't know. I'm not gonna do that.
I assume that was a non-diegetic. Why not? But listen, what is diegesis? We find ourselves in the diegesis zone. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Ah, shit.
And Bookkeeper, as you climb into the seat of Red Hen, just a huge door forms above the massing troops, and Scarlet charges away from it into the wall of soldiers, like giggling. Just shrieks like, You thought you could trap me and keep me?
Oh no, she's got trauma too.
Red Hen just sort of rumbles. Sometimes these lessons have to be learned slowly.
Bookkeeper's still looking at Crimson and her rampage, and that is going to be good for her. Is she just working stuff out, or is she? Is she gonna be okay? I didn't know that was a question.
It was because I needed to be sated, and I had to learn slowly that was available before I could form the next thought. And perhaps if she takes some time away, she can learn of that. I do not know, nephew. I am an imperfect teacher.
Bookkeeper's gonna slowly nod. I think I
Is-
see what you're saying.
Is it okay if... Is it acceptable to you, my pilot, if she stays with us a little while longer?
If you can control her, no pun intended. But seriously, I am not having a chassis go berserk. I understand how close at hand that worry is to both of you, but you understand where it's coming from, yes?
Certainly, nephew.
Give me the assurance that she won't hurt anyone, and you have my permission. Let me rephrase
Nephew,
that. Give
I
me the
can
assurance
promise
that
to
she will not hurt
try.
anyone with your chassis.
Nephew, I can try. That is a good worry I had not considered. I will do my best to have our nicest rooms for our guest and keep them separate from the hall.
Yeah. All right then. You've done an excellent job keeping this. And he's gonna knock his knuckles against the inside of the cockpit. Massive systems duct taped and running. I trust you to keep her sequestered and comfortable.
Nephew, you have shown me such trust this day.
You've earned it.
I wanted to thank you. I am honored. I wish that it had been better, nephew. So that it was better by the time you joined us.
You've made things better. I can't ignore the work that you've put in.
We can but try, nephew.
Bookkeeper's gonna smile a little bit and ask her to be a little less stiff.
Something about the mist in my joints again. And you can't tell if she is catching the air under wings that you can't quite see or are there. You can't tell if she is swinging by the grappling hooks. But she comes and she lands directly in front of the door. And the ground troops the soldiers keep swarming around her, right, and towards Scarlet. And she says, "Come, friends. I think we have a throne to meet with. Are we ready to depart?"
Get us out of here.
She's saying that to the rest of the party. How are y'all doing?
Yeah, I don't think we have any other business necessarily to take care of here. I should say, as long as George is also okay with us stealing his NHP.
I think George is working on some other big feelings in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
George has been introduced to the concept of like culpability for actions when big upset, and that's a new one for him. It's a big one for him.
Oh, buddy.
Oh goodness.
So proud of him for learning.
He's trying hard.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
You know, honestly, it does show. It does.
It does.
Then, everyone's ready to leave. Then Red Hen's going to step up the invisible steps to the door, and slowly it's going
sick
to
ass door. Sorry.
crack open, and she's going to step through. And as you step through the door, you find yourselves in the palace gardens again. All of the House of Stone NHP soldiers have just been ripped to shreds by Red Hen and by Scarlet. George's neck is just quiet on the ground. Its spine still torn out, right? But it looks like it was part of ripping those troops apart before it went silent. And across, up from the garden, you see the pillar of smoke rising from where the villa of the House of Kings once was. And we'll catch you all next time on Divine Right of Kings. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Oh, what a wonderful session. I hope y'all had a good time. I hope it wasn't too much being in cutscene land. I hope people enjoyed it. I will say we are going to be off next week.
Yeah.
We're going to be off next weekend for the holidays. Are we going to be here on the 30th? That's New Year's Eve.
I would be there.
Okay. We might be there on the 30th, on New Year's Eve. But we're off next weekend, so we'll see you on the 30th at 7 p.m. Pacific, as we've done such times before. For what might be the last session of Season 1 of Divine Right of Kings. We'll see. It was so glad to have you all. Wait, I can't do that yet. I gotta do I gotta plug. I gotta do the plugs. If you are having a good time, you can check the VOD channel, or you're already watching on the VOD channel, in which case, thank you. I'm so glad I hope you're having a good time. And I'm also on the Blue Sky, which I will link on the Twitch at some point. I gotta do all these logistics. And that's it for the moment. I have an itch also, but that's less important. I should probably scratch that, but also I have a games page on itch.io, which is different.
Dumb.
Sometimes I gotta say things that
I mean, that is why I laughed.
Sometimes I gotta say really dumb nonsense. Gosh, I hope everyone enjoyed this session. I worked really hard to make all the effects work out, so I hope it was good. I hope it was good VFX. I hope we like our foggy bog. And if nothing else, we'll see you on the 30th at 7 p.m. PST. Thank you all for joining us for Divine Right of Kings, everyone. I hope you all had a good time in the bog.
Yeah.
Plug a song real quick.
Yeah, please.
Mask of My Own Face by Lemon Demon. Anyway, no reason.
Good. Penn's Experience is Mask of My Own Face by Lemon Demon. If you want to know, by the way, the plug for this episode, the song for this episode, is The Voice by Celtic Woman.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Hey, you know how that's been on the Divine Right of Kings playlist the whole time? It was for this. It was for this. And goodness, it was so wonderful going to the bog with y'all. We will see you on the 30th at 7 p.m. PST. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe out there on the holidays. Take care. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.